Today, we delve into a chilling case from Naples, Florida, in January 2005. A young man's dreams were abruptly ended in a scheme fueled by obsession, envy, and an intense longing for youth. Ethan Wright was a 20-year-old college student thriving in Naples, a locale renowned for its lively retirees, seasonal visitors, and the hidden lives of young individuals who cater to them. Ethan was enthusiastic about coffee and aspired to own his own cafe someday. Known among friends for his deep interest in coffee culture, he loved crafting new blends and perfecting his brewing techniques. Ethan was enrolled at a local community college, focusing on business management to pave the way for his cafe dreams. He worked part-time as a barista at a popular local coffee shop, where his innovative creations were starting to get noticed for their unique flavors, often challenging Naples' preference for traditional brews. Ethan was well regarded by his peers, celebrated for his amiable nature, and his knack for making those around him feel at ease. His engaging personality wasn't just a hit with his friends. He also charmed the older clientele at high-end coffee tasting events, where his skills were in high demand. Ethan was bold and spirited, always on the lookout for new connections and adventures in life, love, and especially in coffee. In the days leading up to his tragic end, Ethan was thrilled about a new opportunity to showcase his latest coffee blend at one of Naples' premier events. His excitement was palpable in every discussion with friends and colleagues. He aimed to carve out a name for himself in the bustling cafe scene and saw this event as a breakthrough. Ethan harbored grand ambitions. He dreamed of traveling the world to explore diverse coffee cultures and someday competing in national barista competitions. He even mused about moving to Seattle to immerse himself in its famed coffee scene. Yet, all his aspirations were halted by a sinister plot that unfolded unnoticed. On the morning of January 15, 2005, Naples was just starting to stir under a clear, cool dawn. Around 8 a.m., Ethan Wright's roommate, Alex Reed, sensed that something was amiss. Ethan hadn't left for his early shift at the local coffee shop, which was out of character. Ethan was usually up with the first light, ready to embrace the day. Alex, concerned, tapped on Ethan's bedroom door, but got no reply. Deciding to check, what he discovered would forever be imprinted in his memory. Ethan lay on his bed, motionless, his skin pale and lifeless. The room, typically filled with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee or experimental blends, was now unsettlingly silent, marked by a faint, distressing odor. No signs of struggle were evident, no furniture appended or items displaced. It appeared as though Ethan had simply drifted off to sleep and never awakened. Shock rooted Alex to the spot as he stared in disbelief. Panic quickly set in. He scrambled for his phone and dialed 911, his voice breaking as he shakily recounted finding his best friend unresponsive. When the paramedics arrived, they confirmed Alex's worst fears. Ethan was dead. Police soon followed, their sirens cutting through the morning quiet, the flashing lights casting eerie shadows inside the modest apartment. The scene felt surreal, the morning's tranquility shattered by the stark reality of death. Alex, overwhelmed by shock, struggled to grasp the magnitude of what had occurred. The responding officers gently urged him out to start their inquiry. Later, at the police station, he was visibly distraught, unable to fathom the enormity of his loss. Ethan's body was transported to the local medical examiner for an autopsy as the investigation into his enigmatic death commenced. Unbeknownst to all, this was merely the start of a complex, sinister tale. The Naples Police Department responded swiftly to the 911 call from Ethan Wright's apartment on the morning of January 15, 2005. Leading the charge was Detective James McCarthy, a veteran officer known for his thorough investigative skills. The scene at Ethan's apartment was eerily silent. Everything appeared untouched, and Ethan's body lay peacefully, hinting at an unnatural cause of death. As McCarthy and his team entered Ethan's bedroom, the absence of visible violence struck them. No blood, no weapons, no signs of a struggle. Ethan appeared to have simply fallen asleep and not woken up. However, upon closer inspection, Detective McCarthy grew suspicious of more sinister undertone. Ethan's pale complexion and the slight bluish hue around his lips suggested possible poisoning. The team meticulously documented the scene, photographing every detail from the neatly kept bed to the half-drunk cup of coffee on the nightstand. They collected potential evidence, including fingerprints and samples from the coffee cup, and gathered food items from the kitchen that Ethan had recently prepared. The medical examiner, Dr. Cameron, arrived and conducted a preliminary examination, affirming McCarthy's suspicion. Poisoning seemed the likely cause. Dr. Cameron immediately requested a full toxicology report to pinpoint the substance responsible for Ethan's sudden demise. The investigation widened as police questioned Alex Reed, Ethan's roommate, who, though still in shock, provided full cooperation. Alex recounted Ethan's recent activities, highlighting his excitement over a new coffee blend he was perfecting for an upcoming competition. Knowing the urgency of the situation, Detective McCarthy understood that the perpetrator could still be close. The forthcoming toxicology results would be critical in unraveling how a vibrant young man like Ethan met such a mysterious end. Isabella Moreno, 67, was the first individual questioned by the police in their probe into Ethan Wright's death. Isabella was a prominent figure in Naples' social scene, known for her glamour, confidence, and determination to maintain a youthful facade. Often seen as a sophisticated figure, she had a reputation for relationships with significantly younger men, including Ethan. Despite advancing years, Isabella retained her charm, using it to stay relevant among Naples' affluent and seasoned circles. Her history was as vivid as her current lifestyle. She fondly recalled her early days as a model, captivating tales that she shared at social events, though these stories often veiled her underlying insecurities. Over the years, Isabella had invested heavily in cosmetic enhancements to defy age. During the interrogation, Isabella remained composed, firmly denying any involvement in Ethan's demise. She portrayed their relationship as lighthearted and beneficial, with no motive for harm. She recounted their last meeting over coffee at her home, where she served her signature espresso blend, a treat she reserved for her favored companions. Isabella cooperated with the questioning, effortlessly responding and even proposing to share her espresso recipe, trivializing it as an innocuous detail. Yet, beneath her polished veneer, Detective James McCarthy sensed discrepancy. Her too-perfect calmness and readiness to divulge details felt rehearsed, as if she were performing a well-practiced role. The detectives pondered her potential motives. Isabella's fixation on maintaining control and youth could dangerously extend to manipulating those close to her. The depth of her comments about Ethan hinted at a more intricate connection than she admitted. The detective speculated that Isabella's fear of losing her youthful companion might have driven her to extreme actions. As the investigation deepened, Isabella was kept under intense observation, her meticulously constructed persona starting to unravel. The second suspect scrutinized by the police was Alex Reed, a 22-year-old environmental science student who frequented local ecological events in Naples. Alex was known for his engaging personality and environmental activism, but also had side activities that were less savory, including minor run-ins with the law over environmental protests. He was one of Isabella Moreno's younger acquaintances, and their association had grown increasingly complex. Alex was charismatic and well-liked, but had a known competitive edge and was prone to jealousy over academic and social standing. His relationship with Ethan Wright was strained. Both were part of Isabella's social circle, and it was no secret that Alex saw Ethan as a competitor in both the social scene and their mutual connection to Isabella. Ethan's rising popularity in the local coffee culture scene only heightened Alex's insecurities as someone struggling to make significant academic impacts. Alex had sent Ethan several warning messages in the weeks leading up to Ethan's tragic end, cautioning him to distance himself from Isabella. These messages quickly drew the attention of the investigators. When questioned by the police, Alex attempted to project his usual confident air, but appeared visibly stressed. Despite his disheveled look, contrasting his usually composed public image, Alex denied any involvement in Ethan's death, dismissing his threats as mere posturing. He claimed their rivalry was superficial, more about their competing interests than personal enmity. However, Detective McCarthy noted Alex's unease, especially when discussing his whereabouts on the night of Ethan's death. Alex described his interactions with Isabella as intense but non-exclusive, highlighting the presence of other young men in her life, and expressed feelings of neglect, particularly after Isabella had informally rated their contributions to her environmental initiatives, placing Ethan ahead of him. Alex's resentment and frustration were palpable, and the police began to view him as someone who might act out of fear of losing his standing with Isabella. The officers pressed him to reveal more about his motives, but Alex maintained his innocence. Despite his assertions, the threats he had previously made could not be overlooked, and his mixed feelings about Ethan, combined with his ties to Isabella, rendered him a significant suspect. The investigation persisted, with detectives closely monitoring Alex to learn more about his potential involvement in the case. The third suspect scrutinized was Mia Turner, a 19-year-old who had recently relocated from Michigan to Naples to break free from her troubled past, including a brief history with substance misuse. Mia quickly immersed herself in Naples' burgeoning art scene, working under the alias Mystic Mia at local galleries. Despite her young age, Mia was recognized for her compelling charm and knack for navigating complex social dynamics to her benefit. She had entered into a casual relationship with Isabella Moreno, seeing the older woman as a gateway to stability and an escape from her past troubles. Mia's connection with Isabella was pragmatic. Isabella offered Mia mentorship and introductions in the art world, while Mia provided companionship. Mia's ambition, however, was not to remain just another protégé. She aimed to become Isabella's foremost associate. This drive made her intensely competitive with Isabella's other younger friends, including Ethan Wright and Alex Reed. When Mia was brought in for questioning, she maintained a composed and cooperative demeanor, yet her responses were calculated. She described her association with Isabella as a necessary alliance for her survival and vehemently denied any reason to harm Ethan. She acknowledged the underlying tensions between Alex and Ethan but refuted any personal involvement in their conflicts. Mia portrayed herself as a victim of her circumstances, striving to reshape her life in Naples. Detective McCarthy, however, was skeptical of Mia's narrative. He observed that Mia's answers were often evasive, particularly concerning her recent interactions with Ethan and Alex. Mia was adept at redirecting inquiries away from her emotions towards Isabella, focusing instead on her challenging transition to Naples. Her past issues and her manipulative tendencies added layers of complexity to the investigation. While Mia asserted her innocence regarding Ethan's demise, the detectives remained wary. Her ability to manipulate situations and her motives for seeking prominence in Isabella's circle kept her firmly under the investigators' lens as they delved deeper into Mia's background and her dynamics with Isabella, assessing her potential role in the unsettling events. The investigation took an unexpected turn on January 28, 2005, when new evidence surfaced, altering the direction of the entire case. It was a brisk morning in Naples, with the sun just peeking over the horizon. Detective McCarthy and his team were meticulously searching Isabella Moreno's opulent residence, looking for any clues that might connect her or the other suspects to Ethan Wright's untimely death. What they uncovered in Isabella's bedroom exceeded their grimmest expectation. Hidden in a secret compartment of her drawer, they found a collection of personal journals and extensive medical records. These documents shockingly revealed that Isabella had been battling a severe and undisclosed health condition, but more horrifying were her journal entries. Isabella had penned down her convoluted thoughts, detailing how she felt her youthful circle of friends somehow deepened her own insecurities about aging. In her distorted view, she believed that maintaining close relationships with them allowed her to vicariously recapture her lost youth. These revelations stunned the investigators and added a sinister layer to Isabella's motives. If Ethan had stumbled upon this disturbing secret and threatened to expose her, it would provide Isabella with a compelling motive to silence him permanently. The team immediately revisited the timeline of events leading up to Ethan's death, with a renewed focus on his recent interactions with Isabella. The discovery of the journals also cast a new light on the other suspects, Alex Reed and Mia Turner, who were both intimately involved in Isabella's complex web of relationships. The detectives speculated whether Alex or Mia might have discovered Isabella's unsettling views and acted out of revenge or fear of exposure, or if Isabella, driven by paranoia, decided to preemptively eliminate any threats to her facade. With this alarming new evidence, the investigative team intensified their scrutiny of Isabella Moreno. They started to piece together a case linking her not just to Ethan's death but to a broader pattern of manipulation and deceit. The journals and medical records were dispatched for further examination, and the detectives prepared to confront Isabella with the grim reality they had unearthed. As the investigation pressed forward, the puzzle pieces began aligning, drawing the detectives ever closer to resolving the mystery and exposing the dark secrets at the heart of Ethan Wright's tragic demise. On January 30, 2005, just 2 days after unearthing unsettling evidence in Isabella Moreno's home, the Naples police took decisive action. Led by Detective James McCarthy, the team approached Isabella's residence in the early afternoon. The clear sky allowed the winter sun to cast elongated shadows over the well-kept lawns of her affluent neighborhood. Isabella was at home, organizing one of her renowned social gatherings, when the detectives rang her doorbell. Adorned in an elegant robe with her hair impeccably styled, she greeted them with her characteristic poised smile. However, her smile quickly dissipated as Detective McCarthy announced her arrest for the murder of Ethan Wright. Isabella's reaction was a blend of surprise and resistance. She demanded to know the basis for her arrest, staunchly asserting her innocence even as she was handcuffed and escorted out. As she walked toward the police car, Isabella started reciting lines from a well-known novel, seemingly seemingly attempting to appear unstable. Isabella Moreno's arrest sent ripples through Naples' elite circles. Renowned for her sophisticated lifestyle and the youthful crowd she entertained, the idea of her involvement in such a grim and shocking crime was nearly inconceivable to many. Yet, as the investigation unfolded and details came to light, it became apparent that Isabella's charming facade concealed a much darker reality. Detective McCarthy and his team had constructed a robust case against her. The journals and medical documents discovered at her residence laid bare her distorted perceptions and intentions concerning her younger friends. Additionally, they uncovered communications between Isabella and Ethan where he confronted her about her manipulations. These messages revealed that Ethan had threatened to reveal her secrets, prompting Isabella to take extreme measures to maintain her facade. As Isabella sat in the interrogation room, her composure unwavering, she denied any involvement in Ethan's death. Nonetheless, the mounting evidence starkly contradicted her denials, making her efforts to undermine the investigation futile. Ethan's family, deeply saddened by his untimely death, felt a sense of relief as justice began to take shape. They remembered Ethan as a vibrant young man with an ambitious vision for his future, and they struggled to grasp how someone like Isabella could play a role in such a tragedy. Isabella Moreno's arrest was a pivotal moment in the investigation, changing her image from a revered socialite to a central figure in a criminal case, which captivated the Naples community as it played out in public view. The trial of Isabella Moreno commenced in late March 2005. Leading the prosecution was Assistant State Attorney Michael Dummer, a diligent 48-year-old known for his tenacity in court. Dummer was committed to securing a conviction, portraying Isabella as a cunning woman who charmed young men into her circle, only to endanger them to preserve her illusion of youth. He presented the jury with damning evidence discovered at Isabella's residence: her journals, medical records, and incriminating text messages, which illustrated her malign intentions. Dummer argued that Isabella, driven by the fear of Ethan revealing her secrets, resolved to silence him permanently by poisoning his coffee, resulting in his painful and prolonged demise. This act, Dummer contended, underscored Isabella's inhumanity. On the defense, Sharon Mallister, a composed and astute 39-year-old attorney, argued that Isabella was being unjustly vilified due to her age and non-traditional relationships. Mallister endeavored to depict Isabella as a victim of cultural biases, a woman who had perhaps made misguided decisions but was not a murderer. She criticized the prosecution's case as reliant on circumstantial evidence and maintained that they had not conclusively proven Isabella was responsible for Ethan's death. Mallister proposed that Ethan's demise could have been accidental or the consequence of actions taken by others within Isabella's circle, hinting at possible involvement of other acquaintances like Alex Reed and Mia Turner. Throughout the trial, Ethan's family endured with profound sorrow. His mother, Susan Wright, frequently struggled to hold back tears as the harrowing details of her son's demise were revealed. The emotional strain on the family was palpable as they sought justice for the bright young man whose life had been cruelly snatched away. After 2 weeks of intense testimony, the jury deliberated for just 6 hours before delivering a guilty verdict on all charges. Isabella Moreno was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. This sentence was a significant win for the prosecution and provided a small solace to Ethan's grieving family. Although the verdict offered some closure, the deep loss of Ethan would forever leave a void in their lives. For Isabella Moreno, the erstwhile esteemed socialite, her remaining years would unfold behind bars, far removed from the opulence and youthful allure she had fought so hard to maintain. Post-trial, Isabella began her life sentence at Florida's El Correctional Institution, where the stark prison conditions starkly contrasted her previous luxurious lifestyle. Bereft of her former glamour and influence, she became just another inmate, her obsession with maintaining youth fading into a bleak reality of aging in confinement. Alex Reed, also scrutinized during the investigation, withdrew from Naples' environmental circles. The formerly positive attention he had garnered now tainted his reputation, prompting him to relocate to California to rebuild his life as a sustainability consultant. Yet, the shadow of his involvement in the case continued to haunt him. Mia Turner, similarly affected, faced challenges due to her tarnished reputation. She decided to depart from the Naples art scene, dedicating herself to personal rehabilitation and starting anew. She returned to Michigan for familial support and to engage in community-based recovery programs. In the years following the trial, Naples moved forward, yet the echo of this shocking crime lingered, a grim reminder of the destructive extents of obsession and the devastating impact of hidden secrets on a community.